So this year for spring I gave you the niche brands first. Now I'm going to give you the designers. You want to know which 10 designer fragrances I recommend for spring 2020? You know what to do. Welcome back, NYC Fragrance family. Top 10 spring designer fragrances for 2020. So again, I'm going to use Fragrantica's ratings to rank these, because again, all 10 of these, in my opinion, are great for the spring. So start off with number 10. Number 10 came out last year. It's not getting a lot of love. The rating's really low on Fragrantica, in my opinion. I mean, I guess because there's so many of these type of fragrances out, but when you're getting it at this price point, and it is a compliment getter, because when I have worn it, people have asked what it is and have complimented me on it, and it's none other than Dunhill Century Blue. You see that slight tinge of blue juice in there? Again, this is, you know, along the lines of a Dior Sauvage, a Chanel Bleu de Chanel. I think it's more like the original Century with that added ambroxan, and gives it that blue vibe, kind of mixed with that bright neroli that you got and sandalwood that you got in the original Century. And I don't know, I enjoy it, and I have been a fan of the House of Dunhill, so that is probably the reason why. So at number 10, Dunhill Century Blue. At number 9, now this was a reintroduction last year and an improvement, in my opinion, on a classic and a fragrance that I enjoyed when I was younger, and it is Calvin Klein Eternity's Eau de Parfum. It is just everything that the original Eternity was and more for me. A modern take to bring it into the modern world of the fougere barbershop style fragrances. Wonderful, long lasting on my skin, and coming in at a great value and a great price point. Number 9, Calvin Klein Eternity EDP. At number 8, this one here, I mean, if you watch these videos, you've seen and heard enough about this fragrance. There's now, what, 3 flankers plus a body spray, if I'm not mistaken. Or 2 flankers and a body spray, sorry. But I have the original Dior Sauvage EDT. The original EDT. It's a compliment getter, projection beast. I at first, when I started smelling this fragrance, did not care for it, but as I have grown to love it, it is definitely a staple in the rotation, and it'll be a nice one for spring. At number 7, this one is still available, but I think maybe getting discontinued and probably reformulated, because the brand has been bought out now, and it's from Mugler, and it is Kryptomint. You got a beautiful mint fragrance with that Amen base. If you're familiar with Amen, creamy mint fragrance, beautiful for the spring. That's at number 7. At number 6, a recent discovery of mine, which draws a lot of similarities to other popular designer fragrances, and it is Missoni pour Homme. Missoni pour Homme gets compared to Bleu de Chanel. I compare it to Chanel Egoiste Platinum, which happens to be one of my favorite fragrances, if not my favorite fragrance of all time. Very good value. I picked it up around $60. I think it's a perfect fragrance if you're looking for something for everyday use. Could even be a signature scent. So number 6, Missoni pour Homme. And number 5, this one with Chanel Egoiste Platinum were like my regular rotation before I got into fragrances. And this is really cheap now. And I gotta get me another bottle because I'm running really low on it. And it is Bvlgari pour Homme Soir. This is just a magnificent tea fragrance, but it also has the essence of the way Egoiste Platinum gives that real manly vibe. That's what I got from it, and that's why I gravitated towards it, and that's why I ended up having it in my collection and in my rotation along with Egoiste Platinum. Speaking of Chanel Egoiste Platinum, at number 4 for the spring, Chanel Egoiste Platinum. Now, I've talked ad nauseum about this one. It is just a beautiful fougere fragrance, lavender, the metallic note that people complain about I don't really get, but to me it's just been my fragrance. And coming in at number 4 on this list, what Fragrantica scored it at, that's what I'm putting it in at. I mean, if I had to put it in, you know it's going to be my number 1. It wouldn't be number 4, but it's number 4 for the sake of this list. At number 3, from the house of Dunhill again, we have Dunhill Icon. Now this one has made a lot of waves, been very popular with reviewers. It's relatively cheap now, been compared to Terre d'Hermès. Again, a good fragrance to have for the spring. I think actually this is a good all-season fragrance, not just for the spring, but the nuances it has do speak spring, and it will be a good designer fragrance for the spring. So at number 3, Dunhill Icon. At number 2, this is probably the summer king if anything, but it's also versatile, so versatile, and probably good for the spring because of the neroli. Neroli seems to be a note that works very well in the spring, and it is Mugler Cologne. Now this has gone under some changes. There was a new line that was released, the Mugler line, that made this one, gave it a different name, but it's still the same fragrance. You could still get the Mugler Cologne. I've seen it on websites. Relatively cheap again. A lot of these that I have aren't very expensive if you go to discounters. If you walk into a department store, you're going to pay retail price. So be smart when you shop for these designer fragrances, please. Number 2, Mugler Cologne. Very versatile, out of the shower fresh, perfect clean scent. If you're not really wanting to wear a scent, it's the perfect scent to grab. At number 1, I own all 3 of these fragrances from this line. And this one, for the spring, is going to be an outstanding one to wear. It's going to perform great because of all the other notes it has involved in it that will give it the longevity it needs. And the fragrance is Lalique Encre Noire Sport. See that? So now, Encre Noire Sport takes the original Encre Noire DNA. It adds grapefruit, some bergamot, some lavender to give it some extra freshness, which is what makes it good for the spring. Again, any one of these 10 fragrances can do you no wrong. You'll be happy to wear any of them in the springtime. Let me know if you took away some value. Let me know some of your picks in the designer realm for spring. I'd love to hear it in the comments below. So remember, NYC Fragrance family, if you smell good, you feel good. Have a nice day.